Today we are talking about decimal fractions. On this number line we see the whole numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. If we look at the whole numbers 3 and 4, for example, we know as students that an infinite number of decimal fractions exist between these two whole numbers. We call this concept number density. Decimal fractions such as 3 and 2 tenths, 3 and 7 tenths, and 3 and 9 tenths. We also know that 9 tenths is closer to a whole because 9 out of 10 is greater than 2 out of 10. Well, let's look at nutrition. Sometimes we may want to keep track of how many pieces of fruit we have eaten. From this image, we can see that this person has eaten 2 bananas and then a half banana. If all the bananas we ate were equal in size and we cut one into 10 equal parts, we could see that this person has eaten 5 out of 10 equal parts, or 5 tenths of their banana. We also know that 5 is half of 10, therefore this person has eaten half a banana as well as 2 whole bananas. If we look at apples, this person has eaten 3 whole apples and a half apple. Going back to bananas, we can see that 2 whole bananas are to the left of the decimal point, and 5 tenths or half a banana are to the right of the decimal point. 5 tenths being a fraction of a whole. Therefore, we know that to the left of the decimal point are whole numbers, and to the right of the decimal point are parts of a whole. Going back to our first example, we can see that if we take this one step further, we'll find that between 3 and 2 tenths and 3 and 3 tenths, we have hundredths. In this example, we see 3 and 2 tenths and 5 hundredths. Here's a similar example using biscuits. We can see 3 whole lines of biscuits, 2 tenths of a whole, and 5 hundredths. Here's another example using 1 whole and 3 tenths. Well, let's look at the parts. 1 whole is made up of 10 tenths. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 equal parts, or 1 whole. We also know that 10 out of 10 is the same as 1 whole. 1 tenth is also equal to 10 hundredths. If we took a tenth and cut it into 10 equal parts, we would have 10 hundredths. Well, if we look at this comparison, we know that tenths are larger than hundredths, as hundredths can be thought of as the smaller parts of a tenth. In review, we can see that to the left of the decimal point are whole numbers. To the right, we can see tenths, and then hundredths, which are smaller parts of a tenth, and then thousandths, which are smaller parts of a hundredth. The further we go to the right of the decimal point, the smaller the fraction of the whole becomes, with each number to the right of the decimal point being 1 tenth the size of the number before it. So, it's very important to know what position each number is in order to correctly interpret a decimal fraction.